Welcome students. We were discussing about root modifications. In the previous class we have seen different types of root modifications, that is for storage, for nitrogen fixation, for respiration, for reproduction. So these are the various additional functions which are performed by the roots. So here we will continue with this root modifications. Here we have another type of roots which are called as photosynthetic roots. Another type of roots which are called as photosynthetic roots. These photosynthetic roots are also called as assimilatory roots. It is also called as assimilatory roots. So these type of roots are found in Trappa, Tinophyllum. Here in this type of this photosynthetic root, the roots will become green and photosynthetic. Roots will become green and photosynthetic. So here in these type of plants and this type of plants which have photosynthetic roots, there will not be leaves and stem. Stem and leaves will be absent. Stem and leaves will be absent. Even if stem is present, it will be very small. So now here in this the roots will be performing the function of photosynthesis. Stem is not there, leaves are not there. Then the leaves, instead of leaves performing photosynthesis, the roots will be performing the function of photosynthesis. The roots will become green. That means the roots will have chlorophyll. The roots will have chlorophyll. So chlorophyll when it has, then it will be performing helping in performing the function of photosynthesis. Apart from chlorophyll, it also has velamin. It also has velamin. Velamin is nothing but a substance which helps in absorption of moisture and minerals from the atmosphere. Here in this plant, for example in this in this plant Tinophyllum, here there won't be any stem, there won't be any leaves. The roots will be there. Roots will be attached to substratum. Roots will be attached to a substratum and the roots will be green in color. This green color is because of the presence of chlorophyll, and this velamin will also be present. This velamin will be providing moisture, that is water will be given to the plant. Plant require water and minerals. Okay, and they also require, in order to perform photosynthesis, they require chlorophyll. So now the roots is having all the things. It has chlorophyll to perform photosynthesis. It has velamin which can absorb the water and minerals. So the roots are attached to substratum. Roots are attached to substratum. No stem, no leaves. And the roots will have chlorophyll and velamin, with the help of which it performs photosynthesis. So such type of roots which perform the function of photosynthesis, instead of leaves performing the function of photosynthesis, in the absence of leaves, these roots will perform the function of photosynthesis. So such roots which helps in the performing of photosynthesis, those are called as photosynthetic roots or assimilatory roots. They will be able to perform photosynthesis because of the presence of chlorophyll and velamin. The roots will be green in color. Usually, typically the roots are non-green or brown in color, but in these plants the roots will be green in color because of the presence of a pigment called as chlorophyll. And because of this chlorophyll and velamin, they are able to produce food materials and they are able to survive. So such roots are called as photosynthetic roots or assimilatory roots. Now coming to another type of root, that is epiphytic roots. epiphytic roots. There are certain plants which grows on the other plants. There are certain plants which grows on the other plants. So such plants are called as epiphytes. The plants which grows on other plant, the plant which grows on other plant or on the branches of other plants. So such plants are called as epiphytes. So these epiphytes, the epiphytic roots will be present on the epiphytes. Epiphytes are nothing but the plants which grows on the branches or on the other plant. And these are that is, for example, this is the tree and a branch of tree. On this now another plant will be growing. So this plant is called as epiphyte, and this plant will also have roots. This plant will also have roots. So these roots are called as epiphytic roots. These are called as epiphytic roots. These epiphytic roots helps in absorption of moisture. Absorption of moisture. See here, this is the original plant. It has root system. So it will be taking its nutrients from the soil. But this plant is growing on another plant. Then how will this plant get the nutrients? It is not having the roots inside the soil. Then how will this plant will get the nutrients? So in order to get the water and minerals, there are roots on this plants. These roots will have velamin in them. These roots will have velamin in them. This is the other plant. This is plant with the root system. On this plant grows a other plant. On this plant grows an other plant. So this other plant is called as epiphyte, which grows on the other plant. And these epiphyte have roots. These epiphytes have roots. These roots are not fixed inside the soil. They are just present on the plant. So these roots are called as epiphytic roots. Then how come this plant will get water? This plant is getting water because the root is there inside the soil and providing it with water. But how come this plant will get the water? Roots are not inside the soil. This plant is not giving this plant the water and nutrients. So the roots which are present on this plant, these adventitious roots which are present on this plant, now these roots have a special substance. That substance is called as velamin. It is a sponge like substance which helps in absorption of water from or moisture. Water they require. So water they are getting in the form of moisture. In the atmosphere, moisture will be present. So from the atmosphere, this is the atmosphere, from this atmosphere they will absorb the water. They will absorb the water. These roots will absorb the water and minerals and gives to the plant. So by taking the water and minerals from this velamin, that is roots, epiphytic roots, or the plants will grow. So such type of roots are called as epiphytic roots. So this is one adaptation of root where it is giving the plant moisture, where it is giving the plant moisture. These are additional roots which have velamin. So these type of roots are called as epiphytic roots. These roots are called as epiphytic roots. Now we move to the last modification which we see in the roots, that is HOUSTORIAL roots. They are also called as parasitic roots. HOUSTORIAL roots or parasitic roots. What are parasites? Parasites are nothing but plants, parasitic plants. Here plants which depend on other plant for food and water. Parasites, they are unable to prepare their own food. They cannot prepare their own food. So when they cannot prepare their own food, they will be dependent on the other organisms for food. So such organisms which cannot prepare their own food, which depends on other plants, which depend on host plant in which they will be living, that is, which depends on the other plant for food and water. So what they will be doing is, these parasitic plants, they will be attacking another plant. The plant to which it attacks, it is called as host plant. Host plant, parasitic plant. This plant cannot prepare its own food. This plant can prepare its own food. So this parasitic plant will be attacking the host plant. It will attack the host plant and derive the nutrients from the, now this plant, it can prepare its own food. It will have water as well as food. It will have water as well as food. So it is able to produce its own food. So now this parasitic plant will attack this host plant and will take water as well as food, or sometimes it will take only water. So this type of plants are called as parasitic plants. Now here in this parasitic roots or houstorial roots, so the roots of these plants, the roots of this parasitic plants which will be attacking this host plant, those roots are called as houstorial roots or parasitic roots. Houstorial roots or parasitic roots. So this houstorial roots or parasitic, here we have two types of parasites. We have two types of parasites. Parasites are of two types. One is partial parasite, another is complete parasite. Parasitic plants are of two types. One type of plant is partial parasite and another is complete parasite. In this complete parasite, the plant will depend on the host plant for both food as well as water. It will depend on the plant for both food as well as water. So such type of plants are called as complete parasites. Such type of plants are called as complete parasites, and the plants which depends only for water and minerals, then they are called as partial parasites. Partial parasites. Example for partial parasite is viscum plant, striga plant. For example, this is the plant, roots are there. Okay, so this is the root of houstorial plant. This is another plant root. So this root will go inside this. This is parasitic plant root. This is host plant. So this the root of the parasitic plant will penetrate inside the root of houstorial plant to take the water and minerals, because roots absorb water and minerals. So what it will do? It will attack the roots of this parasitic plant. This is the parasitic plant, some parasitic plant, these are the roots. So the roots of this parasitic plant will attack this host plant and take the water. So such roots are called as parasitic roots. Okay, and this plant is partial parasite because it takes only water and minerals. Okay, and here in this complete parasite, the parasite will take both water as well as food. For example, this is one plant, okay, with the roots and all. This is one plant. It will take another, that is the roots of parasite will entwine themselves on the whole plant and take both food as well as water from this plant. The roots of parasitic plant, another plant. For example, this is the plant and these are the roots of these plants. The roots will entwine themselves on the other plant and take both water and food. So such plants are called as complete parasites, which depends both for food and water. So in both this, the roots of these plants are attacking the host plant and taking water and minerals. So such plants are called as parasitic plants, and the roots of those plants are called as parasitic roots. So now we have finished with our root modifications. We have seen modifications for food storage, we have seen modifications for respiration, we have seen modifications for nitrogen fixation, we have seen modifications for mechanical support, we have seen modifications for reproduction, we have seen modifications for photosynthesis, we have seen modifications for absorption of moisture, and we have also seen modifications for getting food and water from the other plants. So these are the various modifications which we see in the plants.